Hi, good evening, everybody. First of all, a big welcome to all of you in tonight's ACCA's webinar on SBL for March 2022 attempt. My name is Sir Hassan Dosani. I hope you guys are keeping well and are equally excited as I am for tonight's webinar. So before we proceed, I would like to know whether you are able to clearly hear me and you're able to see my screen with a guy who's trying to climb a mountain and you're able to see my face. If yes, can you please type yes in the question box? Excellent, excellent. Perfect. So, you can type your comments in the chat box. So I would like to wait for a couple of minutes um, before I start. Because today is the first day and I'm sure a lot of students are trying to join in. It's not a simple process. They must be struggling. So I would like to give them a few minutes. Let's wait for a few more minutes and then we will start. All right. 209 students have joined. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And I guess we are good to start. So again, formal welcome to all of you. My name is Hassan Dosani, and we are about to start our SBL webinar for March 2022 attempt. Right. So what is our strategy for 4 days? So our webinar is for 4 days, which is from 13th of Feb to 16th of Feb, right? So obviously, we will revise the important topics, right? We will talk about professional skills. We will talk about all the formats which are testable in the exam. Then we will talk about exam techniques. We will cover all the articles, syllabus changes, the study plan for last 2 weeks. That's very important, right? And lots of question practice. So this webinar, when I was designing this webinar, I don't want it to be a theoretical thing, right? I don't want it to be theoretical. I want it to be just a very practical oriented thing. So when I was deciding what kind of question practice should we do, I had two options. The first option was that I pick up small questions from various papers. This was similar to the way which I used to do in my earlier webinars. The second option was that rather than picking up small questions from various case studies, I can pick up one case study and we solve it completely from A to Z so that you get a holistic approach. So let me know which one is your preference. You want a full case study to be discussed, or you want small questions? Ah, wow. So majority are saying full case study, majority. So, all right, that's good because, you know, I took the liberty and I decided that, okay, this time we will do one full SBL question practice with drafting. And if you recall my December webinar, in that also I did one full question and I got a lot of feedbacks from students that it was awesome. So this time again, I decided to continue with the legacy and do one full case study. So now the second question, you know, which I had in mind was that which question to select. That was the problem. Which question to select? Either I can select a easy question or I select a difficult question. And what do you want? Easy question or a difficult question? No. Seriously, majority are saying difficult question. Oops. The toughest. Okay. Yes, and yes, I did. You guys want TT for you? What's TT for you? Okay, so yeah. All right, I get you. I get you. So again, luckily, what I selected was yes, you got it right. It is basically the question called TT for you, and it is your actual paper of March 2020. So TT for you is perhaps one of the most difficult questions of SBL, and generally I don't encourage students to try this question on their own because it will kind of, you know, shatter your confidence at the last moment. But I decided to do this question in this webinar so that at least you get an idea that if you get a difficult paper, how can you solve it or how you can handle it, right? So excellent. So it's TT for you for March 2020 attempt. And if you remember, in case you have attended my December 2021 webinar, in that webinar, I had done a question called NABI, which was specimen paper 3. So this TT for you will be our second full-fledged case study. I hope you guys are happy about it. Right. Before we proceed, this webinar is basically on CBE approach. Okay. And a lot of students ask me whether we should watch the previous webinars or not. The short answer is yes. You have to watch my previous webinars. It is mandatory to watch the following webinars. Why? Because if you want to cover SBL 360 degrees, then you cannot rely on one webinar because, you know, because of time limitations, I'm not able to cover everything in one webinar. So you have to watch 3 webinars if you want 100% coverage. The first webinar you should start is September 21 by Hassan Dosani. In September 2021 webinar, I have covered all the important topics. After that, you watch December 2021 webinar, again by Hassan Dosani, because there are other teachers as well who are offering webinars. So be very careful that you need to search by my name if you want to look for my webinars, right? So December, I did a question on, NEBI. And after that, currently we are in March webinar, and in this one we will be doing. So if you do these 3 webinars, you stand a good chance to pass. A lot of students have just watched the webinar and have applied my techniques, and they have scored 60s and in 70s as well. I have hundreds of testimonials thanking me that just by watching the webinar and just following your techniques, they passed with flying colors. So it is very much possible, right? Okay. No. How to ask questions? That's very important. I want you guys to ask as many questions as you want. Okay, it's very important that you feel free and you ask maximum questions, because this is your opportunity to clarify your understanding and concepts, right? However, you need to be mindful of a couple of things. Number one, you should only ask questions which are relevant to the topic under discussion. You need to understand this sensitivity. Whatever topic we are discussing, your question should pertain to that, and I will be happy to answer that. Because if you ask an irrelevant question, I will not be able to stop the topic in between and talk about non-relevant things. That will break the tempo. You understand that, right? So please only ask questions which are relevant to the current discussion, and any general questions we can discuss in the last 10 minutes every day. I will keep a Q&A session in the last 10 minutes. The way you can ask question is, you can just type your questions in the question box, okay? And every few minutes, I will stop and check my question box. Right. Okay, a very quick introduction of myself for those who are attending my webinar for the first time. Professionally, I am a fellow chartered accountant. I did in 1999, so I'm an old man. I did a lot of degrees after that. I am working as a CFO for last 10 years, okay, in a variety of multinational companies. Currently, I am working as a CFO of an insurance broking house based in Dubai, okay, and I am a finance director. I sit in the board of directors for the last 10 years. Now, this point actually differentiates me from all the other SBL teachers out there. Why? Because those guys are professional teachers, whereas I am a professional CFO. I am working, and teaching is not my profession, it is my passion, right? I'm able to give real life examples. I'm able to explain in layman terms. So I think that's my strength. As far as my teaching experience is concerned, I've been teaching for last 2 decades, and I just teach one subject, which is SBL or business management related subject. And I've been conducting several webinars for ACC. I believe this is my 7th webinar via ACCA's platform. This is my WhatsApp number. This is my personal WhatsApp number. So if you want to reach out to me, please save this and I'll be happy to respond to your questions. Okay. Also, I manage SBL group, a global SBL group with all students from all parts of the world, right? If you want to join that SBL group, please send a SMS or please send a WhatsApp on this number. Please write add me to SBL group, and this person, this is not my number, this is my admin. This person will add you to the SBL group. So we share, it's a community where we share questions, we share answers, we help each other, we share articles, all those things. So SBL group, if you want to join, please message, save, take a screenshot and send a message to this number. Also, I think the webinar admin also will share the link to this group in the question box occasionally. So please, you can click there as well. Now, SBL pass rate, if you look at the last 5-6 attempts, it's generally pretty consistent, and average passing rate of SBL is 50%. The global pass rate is around 50% plus minus a little bit. If you note, SBL has the highest passing rate amongst all strategic professional level papers. 50% pass rate. The other professional strategic professional level papers, their average global pass rate ranges in 30s, like APM, AAA, 34, 37, but SBL has the highest passing rate of 50%, which is, I believe, good news, right? Now, for those of you who are giving SBL for the first time, I'm sure you have heard bad things about it. A lot of students say that SBL is difficult. I completely disagree. It is not difficult. It is just different. Okay, it is hugely different from all the other ACCA papers you have given so far, right? Why is it different? What are those things? So number one, it is one integrated case study. There are 6 to 8 exhibits given to you and a list of requirements. So the meaning of integrated case study is that all the questions, the 100 marks questions, will come out from that one case study. So if that case study goes over your head, you are screwed, right? Second different thing is it is the longest paper, which is 4 hours. So most of your papers are 3 hours or 3 hours 15 minutes, but this one is 4 hours. Again, it is a test of your physical stamina and your mental stamina. 4 hours is a bit lengthy, so you have to build up, your temperament for handling a 4-hour paper. The third one is professional skills. So professional skills carries 20 marks out of 100. Can you believe it? 20 marks. So in all your other papers, I believe the professional marks is around 4, right? 4 out of 100. But in this paper, it is 20 marks out of 100. Now, what does that mean? 20% of your paper depends on professional skills. 1/5 of your paper depends on professional skills. If to someone asks me, sir, can you let me know the most important topic which we should prepare? And my answer is most important topic is professional skills, because there's a guaranteed 20 marks on professional skills. So we have to really focus like a tiger to grab maximum professional skills marks. Okay, we cannot take it lightly. The good news is that the professional skills marks are very well structured, they are very well explained, so it is easy. So in today's webinar, I will discuss about professional marks in detail. Okay, so stay tuned. Less emphasis on models, which is good news, that students, they don't have to really learn stupid models and then get confused. Forget about models. There are just very few basic models which you need to focus on, like Pestle, like Porter 5, like SFA, like SWOT. There's a list, but that's it. And even if you don't know the model, if your answer is logically correct, you will be able to score marks. So that's a good thing, right? Then there are various formats required. So we have to be really hands-on with all the formats. And in today's session, I will show you all the formats. And my favorite, 20 to 25% of your paper is common sense. It does not pertain to any chapter, any syllabus, any topic, any model, right? It is just a common sense question. So you see, 20 to 25% is common sense and 20 marks is professional skills. So around 40 to 45 marks is just low hanging fruits. If you know how to grab these, you are pretty safe. Okay, so I don't want hard workers, I need smart workers. Okay, you need to use your smartness, not your hardness. Right, so let me quickly go through the questions. If there is any questions, I will be getting mail regarding recording tomorrow. Guys, please don't chat amongst yourself. And okay, I think there's no such question as such. Okay, let's move on. Now this slide is very important. So we all agree that SBL is different because of all the points I just showed you. But I felt that it is all about your mindset. I teach over 200, 300 students per session, and I've been teaching SBL. So I've taught more than 2,000 SBL students since the paper started. And trust me, SBL is all about your mindset. If you think that you are a student, if you attempt the paper thinking that you are a student and you are writing the report or your answers to please the examiner, you will fail this paper. Why? Because it is a different paper, not like your other papers like tax or law or standards. In this paper, you have to change your thinking, your approach, your mindset. You have to feel that you are a CFO. Can you feel that? Stop thinking like you are an idiot student. Feel that you are a CFO. And your views, your answers, your thoughts, your evaluation, your points are, to be read by the board of directors. Forget about student and examiner. Just feel that you are a CFO And you're talking to the board of directors. You are telling them, because you're a finance expert, you are guiding them on various matters. You're sharing your thoughts with the board of directors. Automatically, two things will happen. Things will start becoming easy. You will feel relaxed. And secondly, your confidence will boost up. Can you feel that? Right now, when as I'm talking, start feeling like a CFO. Talk to me like a CFO. And suddenly you will feel that your confidence is going up. And yes, you can do it. It's a mind game, okay? For SBL, I don't know about other subjects. But if you want to pass SBL, when you are reading the case study, forget about models. You think the board, you think the board is interested in models? Bullshit. Forget about definitions and general answers. Why? Because you think the board is interested in knowing general definitions? No, right? So just talk common sense within the case study and you will pass. I assure you, you will pass. So this mindset is what. So I will now call you guys CFOs. This all bunch. How many people are there? 279. So I'm right now talking to 279 CFOs. Done deal? All right. Promise? CFOs. So you will talk like a CFO when you're talking to me. Yes, I'm looking at all the questions. Neha, what is your question? I don't know what's happening. I don't have chat box. There's no chat box, my friend. There is a Q&A question box, and that's it. Sonel, please don't ask irrelevant questions at this moment, okay? Admin, can you share the WhatsApp group link? Admin is sharing every few minutes, so excellent, excellent. All right, so are we done with this? You guys are CFOs, okay? Let's move on. But then the question arises, if the global pass rate is 50%, why the hell students fail SBL? There are, there are a lot of reasons, and most of them are unfortunately stupid reasons. You guys just shoot yourself on your knees. So, for example, why students fail? First reason, as per examiner, this is not from me, as per examiner, the examiner says the answers are not linked with exhibits. So if you are the examiner, would you pass anyone whose answers are not at all linked with the case study? Of course. So you have to make sure that your answers are linked. Bad time management. So most students, they are not able to complete the paper 100%, right? And because if you miss out 20 marks or 15 marks, it's not possible that you pass if you attempt 80 marks SBL paper, because it is a theoretical paper, it's a low scoring paper by nature. So you have to make sure that you attempt 100%. Okay, and today we will talk about all this time management techniques. And then this one, oh my god, so many students tell me this, that oh sir, I messed up. Why? Because I spent too much time on question number 1 or question number 3. So people, those of you who are out there who have given SBL before, did you experience this? Most of you would have. Most of you, that you You get so carried away in question number 1, most likely, that you significantly overrun the time, and by the time you realize and wrap up, already 25-30 minutes are, gone, and then you struggle to complete the paper, or your quality of the answer deteriorates because you now want to write faster. See, and then because of thanks to CBE, students, they just copy paste material from the exhibits without adding own comments or explaining why the point is important or relevant. You don't get marks for copy pasting. Again, I'll ask you, if you are the examiner, will you give marks to a student who is just reproducing the case study on the answer sheet and not adding his or her own thoughts? Is 100 marks for copy pasting skill? Bullshit. So yes, you have to copy paste. Yes, you have to use the information, the facts, the figures, the statistics, the key sentences from the scenario. But then you also will need to add your own bit. You need to add your own thoughts, your own comments to justify and to build your argument. Only copy pasting will not get you marks, but the moment you add your own comments, you will get marks. You see, I told you, most of them are stupid errors. Poor technical knowledge and professional skills. Yes, this webinar will help you with that. Not reading the requirements carefully. You need to be very, very clear that you know what the requirement is talking about. Ouch. Look at this. Insufficient number of points according to the marks. So do you agree that a question worth 20 marks will have more number of points as compared to a question worth 8 marks? So your number of points has to be according to the marks of the question. So you have to make sure that the number of points are sufficient enough to justify the marks. Again, this is no rocket science. It is just plain blunder. Weak grip over the CBE platform. So a lot of students does not practice enough on the CBE platform, and of course the examiner will be able to see that. It's very easy. And weak typing and formatting skills. Weak typing, formatting, layout, spelling errors. So listen very carefully. Now, this is a very common question I get. The first question which a lot of students ask is, what about typing speed? So in SBL, the typing speed is not very important. It's important, but not very important. If your typing speed is average, like on a scale of 1 to 10, if you can type around, your typing speed is 5 or 6, that's good enough. Why? Because half the answers will be copy pasted from the exhibits and half the answer you will be drafting. So, even if you are slow, but because we are copy pasting information, that kinds of covers up the time. So typing speed it's okay, nothing to worry about. But yeah, if you are typing like this, if you type like this, then I'm sorry, you are not fit to be a CFO, right? But your typing is normal, you will survive, nothing to worry about. The second question is about spelling errors, that will I lose marks because of spelling errors? If the examiner understands that there will be spelling errors, it is natural. There is no spell check option in the CBE platform. There is no autocorrect option, unfortunately, in the CBE platform. So even when I type, I do make typo errors. Examiner understands that. The problem is when you make excessive typos. If your spelling error is abnormally high, so each and every sentence has 3 spelling errors, then yes, you should lose marks, right? But if it is occasional, it is okay, it is in the normal level, understandable level, then you will not lose marks. Right. So what are the recommend? So you understand all these weaknesses, because if you want to pass SBL, you need to make sure that you do not commit these weaknesses. And most of them are common sense clerical weaknesses. How you can, avoid this? Recommendations are there during your preparation phase. Practice using the CBE platform and do full mock exams under CBE. Get your answers checked by a teacher or a mentor. And exam techniques, so we'll talk about all these things. So let me just quickly go through the chat box. Yes, most very good questions, guys. Most of these questions relating to exam techniques, I will be answering in few mistakes. Muhammad Sunil is saying, what about grammatical mistakes? Again, it is acceptable. English is not the primary language for most of students, right? So if there is a little bit of grammatical mistake, little bit of weak English, it is ignorable. You will not lose marks. But if it's a big weakness, then yes, you will lose marks. Okay, cool. Move on. Marks range. So this is more relevant for students who have given SBL before and unfortunately were not able to clear. This one is not for first timers. So from your marks, you can judge what went wrong. Okay, so those who obtained less than 44 marks, and you know your marks, right? So those of you who obtained less than 44 marks, too much things are there which you need to fix. It shows that there is weak technical knowledge. It shows that you have conceptual issues. It shows that you are probably not linking your answers. You are more, giving like general answers or vague answers. You are using models unnecessarily, insufficient practice, all the things which can go wrong. Unfortunately, you need to work really hard. But for those students who who scored between 44 marks to 49 marks, or you can say in the late 40s, there is just one issue. It is just due to insufficient practice and insufficient mock exams. I repeat, those of you who scored in late 40s, it is only because of insufficient practice or lack of mock exams. Please, you were this bit away and you lost it. So, insufficient practice means it could mean weak drafting, weak linking, weak professional marks and formats, insufficient number of points. So this one, please guys, those of you who scored in late 40s, you need to just do reasonable practice and give couple of mocks and you will clear. There is no conceptual issues with you guys. So if you guys want to do practice, I am offering a mock-based practice session. It is a paid session which is starting from 17th of Feb. Right after this webinar, my mock-based practice classes will start. It is very extensive, very intensive live practice sessions, like more than 40 hours. We will be doing 4 SBL questions, and if time permits, we will do 5 full SBL questions. We will do 2 mock exams under strict exam conditions, and 1 mock script will be checked by me with marks and feedbacks. Okay, and then there will be a grand revision as well, and all classes will also be recorded for later viewing. So especially this one is designed for resit students who scored in late 40s, mid to late 40s. Extremely I would say valuable practice sessions. Other than the resit students, those students who are giving it for the first time, also if you want revision in a proper structured manner, you can also join this session. And for details regarding the fees and the process, please note this number. And this is my coordinator, and this is the same number which is appearing here as well, and she will be happy to guide you with all the details. This is the schedule. Okay, this is the schedule of the mock-based revision classes. So after the webinar, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20, we will do 2 case studies, and then 23rd, 24th, we will do another case study. Then we will have our first mock exam on 27th Feb, which is a Sunday. Then we will do another case study on Wednesday, Thursday, and then a mock 2 on 5th of March and a grand revision on 6th of March. The timing is 8 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Pakistan time. So you need to calculate your local time through Google. So this is just a schedule for you guys so that you can, it will help you decide. And in case you miss the classes, everything will be recorded, right? All right, enough of talking. Tell me, are you guys ready for the big SBL question solving now? Yes or no? Ready? No, you guys are not ready. How can you solve a SBL paper without knowing professional skills, without knowing all the formats, without knowing the exam techniques? How can you solve it, right? So yes, let's take one more step to closer to the solving. Should I discuss the formats, the professional skills, and the techniques so that when we solve this question, we are actually able to apply all those? Yes, perfect, perfect. So now, the first thing is formats. Your paper has a lot of formats. 70% of the questions has some kind of a format. So the first format is a report format. This is the most frequently asked format. Draft a report, draft a report, draft a report. So yeah, you have to know what a report format is, but it is very simple. You will give a big bold underline heading in the center of the page. If it's a report, you will write report just like this, so that the examiner or the board can visually see that it's a report. And then the usual stuff to, from, subject, and date. So to, then the question will tell you who is asking you for the report. It can be the CEO, it can be the board of directors, it can be the finance director, whoever. It will be mentioned in the question. From will be your role. So please do not write your name, okay? No names. Your role will be given in the case study. You could be a finance manager, you could be an external consultant, you could be a director or auditor, okay? So your role would be given. What you need to keep in mind is whether you are an internal person or you are an external person. External person means like you are a consultant, right? Internal person means you are an employee or a director of the company. Can anybody tell me why do we need to be mindful whether we are internal or external? How does that affect my answer? Please try and think. Very good. Yes, because your drafting will be according to that. So if you are an internal person, you can use words like us, we, because you are an internal person. Your tone, your drafting, perfect, perfect, guys, perfect. And if you are an external person, then you cannot use words like we. Then you will talk like a third party, a third person, like you or the company. Okay, easy, huh? Ooh. Then there will be introduction and this report, and you can copy from the question. Introduction is just a two-liner opening sentence, right? So this from here till here, from here till here is the typical standard format. And then from here, your actual answer will start. Also, towards the end, you need to close your report. Do not write fancy sentences like I love you, you are awesome. No, no. Just quickly close it sincerely. And whatever your role, whatever you have mentioned, your role, a consultant or a finance manager, whatever your role is, just, okay, done. Now, couple of things. First of all, is a conclusion required in a report? No. Okay, conclusions or recommendations not required unless specifically asked in the question. So do not voluntarily give conclusions simply because it's a report. Stay away from volunteering. But if the question says write a report including a conclusion or including a recommendation, then of course, obviously, yes. But if it is silent, then do not just avoid or skip the conclusion or recommendations. The second thing is sometimes the examiner says write a confidential report. Very simple. Don't need to worry about, just write the word confidential before the word report. And also here you can say this confidential report, blah, blah, blah. As simple as that. Okay. Any questions on the report format, please, before I proceed? Harsha, please do not complicate. Just give the heading confidential report and move on. Okay. We are under immense time management stress in the exam. So I like to write less and less. Sir, draft a report is the same. Yes, draft a report means prepare a report. Yeah, keep it simple. Nayan, no, please do not give a conclusion because it will take 3-4 minutes and you don't have time in the paper. All right. Is the date necessary? My friend, please don't ask questions like students. Ask questions like a CFO. If you see date in, do you see date here? If I have mentioned date, then please don't ask is date necessary. Just follow this format. Just follow this format. Okay, please. All right, let's move on. Now, another common thing is the examiner says draft a section of a report, which means that you do not need to draft the whole report. Just he wants a small part of the report to be drafted by you. This is the most simplest format. You just give the heading section of a report and then right away start whatever is this. That's it. No no nothing or no nothing of this not required. This not required. Just the body of the answer is required. Okay. Just the heading section of a report, opening sentence, and start away. Very simple. Huh? What's this? Chini? ये निकाल दो. Okay. Another most common format is briefing paper or briefing note or a memo. So these are the three words which are interchangeably used. Sometimes he says prepare a briefing paper, sometimes he says prepare a briefing note, or sometimes he says prepare a memo. Exactly same. Two. So you first give this heading, then to, from, subject, date, and the opening sentence, this briefing paper, blah, 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 and then the actual answer and the closure, sincerely, and your role. Again, the same concept, conclusion, recommendations not required unless asked. So the question is, what is the difference between a report and a briefing paper? Almost it is same, right? The difference is basically a briefing paper should have small size points with headings. Why? Because briefing paper, as the name says, the purpose of a briefing paper is to quickly brief or inform or up to date the reader, right? They don't want lengthy stories. So a briefing paper, the style of writing is slightly different. It should have small paragraphs with multiple headings so that the reader can quickly, come up to speed. But it's not rocket science. Easy. The third, it's another format is called email. Like it can say draft an email. Again, very simple. Give this heading and then to, from, subject, date, opening sentence that this email analyzes blah blah blah. You just copy from the question and then the body of your answer, the actual answer and the closure, sincerely, your role. Alas. Presentation slide format, very interesting. Before I start presentation slide, let me take a quick look at the chat box. Is there any question which I need to answer? Can we write FAO? Yes, you can. Do we have to or FAO? Yes, you can. Internal, more concise, length. What do you mean by length? It's brief. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Forget about technical articles, my friend. If you get into those complications, then you need 6 hours to do SBL paper, not 4. Right, 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 right. Okay, good. Simple English. Okay. Presentation slides. So sometimes, but not sometimes, almost in every paper, the board asks you to prepare a presentation slide. It is not difficult. It's not difficult, so do not get confused. Um, just a second. So a slide has two parts. It has two parts. One is this box, which is the actual slide. And then right underneath the box, there is something called a supporting notes. So this is the first part. And this is the first part. And this is the second part. Okay. So each slide will have a slide followed by a supporting notes. So in the slide, there will be a heading and some bullet points. Very high level bullet points like high turnover, low staff morale. So HR, for example, I gave a slide on HR issues. So my company is facing some HR issues. And what are those? High turnover, low morale, low salaries. The slide will not contain stories or explanations. It will just have bullets. And where do you think is your explanation? It is here under supporting notes. So supporting notes or accompanying notes or will in here you will have to write, couple of lines for each point. Okay. So if there are 3 bullets, ideally, I want to see 3 paragraphs, 1 paragraph for each bullet explaining that bullet. So it's very simple. Okay. And in your CBE platform, the presentation slide template is given. It is given. So you don't have to draw anything. You just open up that presentation slide. Okay. And you just start typing into the box. Don't have to worry about anything. Right? Letter. So I think letter has not yet been tested, but one of the specimen papers, letter is also, something similar that we have to draft a letter, maybe to the regulator, I don't know, to the tax authorities. On the left side, it will be your name and address. On the right side, there is a date followed by the addressee, subject, salutation, opening paragraph, and the body of the answer followed by the closure. Okay. Press release or a website release. This has been tested 1 or 2 times. So can anybody tell me what is a press release? What is the meaning of the word press release? Let's see. Can you guess? Press release is something which is released in the newspaper. Excellent. The media. So press release is something which the company publishes in the newspaper. Who is the target audience of a press release? The public, obviously, it's the addressee, the target audience of a press release or a website release is the public, right? So obviously your tone, your language has to be simple that the a common person is able to understand, right? So there is a specific format for press release. So you give the heading press release or website release, right? As the case may be. And then after that, you will mention what the press release is about, followed by the name of the chairman or the CEO. Do not write your role because you do not have the authority to talk to the public. Only the chairman or the CEO have the authority to communicate with the public, followed by the name of the company and the date, and maybe the opening sentence that through this press release we would like to share our views or whatever, and then followed by the body of your answer. And in the end you will write, for further information please contact our public relation department. A very simple format. Any questions on press release? Tuba, these are very small things. If you want, you can. Again, guys, I want to remind all of you that in all these formats, nothing is hard and fast. Again, to the board of directors, do you think there is a particular format like a Bible? No. If you want to write, dear sir, go ahead. My job is to give you a simple template which you can consistently use in under exam conditions. Right? I have to keep in mind that you guys are in exam conditions. So the easier, the faster template it is, good for you, right? So do not get confused or make this complex. Just follow this simple template. If you want to do something different, it's fine because there is no hard and fast format, right? You know this, right? Okay. No, please, no, Amir. Oh man. Okay, what else? Then there is a business case. So now business case is a very specific document which is used for under project management. So you need to study the topic of project management so that you know what a business case is. But as of now, the format is pretty simple. What is the meaning of a business case? So a business case simply means that justification supporting you have to build a business case. So we need to justify some proposed options. So it's a very simple format. There will be three headings. So a main heading, business case, then a heading called current situation or the current problem or the problem statement. What is the solution, like the proposed options, and then benefits. Business case has not yet been tested so far, yeah, but you must just know a very simple template. The last one is called project initiation document. It has been tested once or twice in your paper. I think this one is important. So a project initiation document, again, it is specifically used under project management. So you need to read that topic to understand what is this document all about. But as far as the format is concerned, a PID includes scope and objective, followed by cost benefit analysis. Then you need to talk about project sponsor, who is the project manager, who is the project team, who are the key stakeholders. Then it should contain duration, key risks, constraints, and project governance and monitoring. Again, I repeat, there is no hard and fast fixed format for a PID. It varies from organization to organization. What I have tried to do is come up with the most simplest template suitable under your exam conditions. So you can watch my previous webinars in which I have solved a question on project initiation document so that you can understand. But as far as the format is concerned, this is the format. It has to be a tabular format. On the left hand side, you will mention all these items. On the right hand side, you will talk about these items. Okay. The last thing, and I think after this, what's the time now? We started at 7:30. We started at 7:30. No, it was 8:30 Pakistan time, 7:30 Dubai. Oh, excellent. So good speed. Uh, the last thing, I think, yeah, this one is the last one. And then we can get a break. Is this one, weakness and recommendation. This one is very important from exam point of view. Why? Because almost each and every paper you get a question about identify the weakness and give suggestions or give recommendations. You get this question almost 90% of the time. Identify the weakness and give recommendation. So whenever you see a question which tells you to identify a weakness and give recommendation, it's very simple. I want you to use a tabular format. Just insert a table. It's really easy on your CBE platform. 2-column table. On the left hand side, mention the weakness. On the right hand side, mention recommendation. This will help you structure your answer. It will save time. You can also, again, this is no hard and fast. It is my suggestion. Most students, they like to give headings and answer without using a table, but then you have the risk of missing out on recommendations. You have to give a lot of subheadings. It looks hodgepodge, but if you follow this tabular format, it would look neat and clean, very structured, and it will be faster. Okay, so the weakness here on the left side and its recommendation on the right side. Weakness number 2 on the left side, its related recommendation on the right side. Similarly, you get a question on risk and mitigation factors. So most of the time, the examiner may say, identify the risks and suggest mitigating factors. Same approach that on the tabular format, you have mentioned the risks on the left side and the mitigation factors on the right side. It will make your answer easy, nice presentation, and it might be a slightly faster than paragraph style of writing. Okay. The question is, are we allowed to use table if it's a report format or if it's a briefing paper? Yes, why not? You can insert a table in a report or a briefing paper or an email, doesn't matter. The board is interested. If the board has asked you to identify the weakness and recommendations, any format will work. So this format will make your life easy. Okay. All right. So I think the next one is professional skills. Let me go through questions. Risk register. Forget about risk register. You will not be asked to prepare a risk register. Okay. No, Nikita. So Nikita is saying if you are asked to identify the risk, then should we also give recommendation? Don't don't give voluntary information. If the question says, if the board says identify the risks, alas, then you just identify the risk. No nonsense with the board. If the board says identify the risk and give recommendation, then you have to identify the risk and give recommendation. Okay, but no voluntarily extra information. Will we get professional marks if we use tabular format? Of course. What's wrong with tabular? Again, you're asking like a student. You think the board will throw your report away if it's got a table? No. So yes, you will get professional marks. Relax. It is not so complicated. Easy. Can the weakness and recommendation make in Excel? No. Please stay away from Excel. Okay, this is a subjective paper. So do not write weakness and recommendation using Excel template. The examiner will go bonkers. How creative you guys are. I'm amazed. Yes, Tuba, you can. Graph or a chart? No way. It will not. It's never. I don't think it will come. Just chill. Yes, Amir, you can combine part A. So Amir has got a good question. Amir said that if identify the risk is part A and give recommendation is in part B, can we then do a table? Yes, you can, of course, then combine part A and part B and give a table. Excellent. This is the beauty of SBL. There is no hard and fast thing, unlike your other stupid papers. Very flexible, very easygoing. As long as you are giving your points logically to the board of directors, you will get marks. Should we number the points? Petty issue for me, up to you. Can we smoke during the exam? Saf, please, I would request you not to ask such questions when I am in a flow. Okay. Essen, I think we should avoid using Excel. Okay, in SBL so far in all the papers I've seen, you don't necessarily need Excel. Can we add commentary before and after? Hamad Ali, no. Did I mention any commentary? You don't have the time. Okay, so don't add commentary before and after the table. No, Zubia. Okay, let's move on. Paul, thank you so much. Paul is my friend. Paul is saying, let's move on. Yeah, because I think the quality of the questions were just deteriorating. Again, students were talking like students and not CFOs. Right, guys? So my question is, do you want a break now, or we quickly do the professional skills? There are 5 professional skills, and then after that we take the break. So please mention break now or break afterwards. I'll go with the majority. Oh, majority is saying afterwards. Yeah, I also feel that we have the stamina right now. That is why I asked. Thank you so much. So let's quickly, I'll try to quickly wrap professional skills, and then we'll get a 15 minutes break. Okay. Professional skills. So I told in the start how many marks? 20 marks. So 20% of your paper is professional skills. You have to make sure that you you really score very high. These are cash marks. These are low-hanging fruits. Out of 20, you must target 15 marks you should score. Okay. The good part is there are 5 professional skills and they are well defined. 5 professional skills are evaluation skill, analysis skill, okay, followed by communication skill, commercial acumen skill, and skepticism skills. These are the 5 skills. They're all well defined. They're very easy. The second good news is that you don't have to demonstrate all the skills in all the questions. Not like that. I repeat, you don't have to demonstrate all the skills simultaneously in all the questions. Nope. So in one particular question, you are asked to demonstrate one particular skill. Doesn't it make it simple that in each and every question it will be clearly mentioned that in this question you need to demonstrate which skill, whether you need to demonstrate evaluation skill or you need to demonstrate analysis skills and whatever. So then in that particular question, you just focus on demonstrating that particular skill and forget about the rest. And also the third good news is that the examiner also gives some hints that what you need to do in order to score in this professional skill. So everything is laid out in a plate for you, in a golden plate for you. All you need to do is just know what is supposed to be done under each skill, and then just do it and you will get marks. Okay, now I'm starting with evaluation skill. Whatever you have learned in the past, whatever you have learned from other teachers in the past, please unlearn that. Because a lot of teachers, they make this very theoretical, very bookish, very complicated. And I can judge from your questions that you have been going in the wrong direction. Not wrong, but in the bookish or the theoretical direction rather than exam paper driven points. So very simple. Evaluation skill. If the question says demonstrate evaluation skill, and I am not going into lengthy stories, you just mention both pros and cons. Khalas. So if the question says evaluate a proposal, so for example, if you receive a proposal, a marriage proposal, okay, if you receive a marriage proposal, and this question is for all the girls out there, if you receive a proposal from a guy, you will evaluate the guy, right, before saying yes or no. When you will evaluate that guy, would you like a 360-degree view of all the pros and the cons, or you just want to focus on the pros, or you just want to focus on the cons, or you want a balanced assessment? Obviously, you would want a balanced assessment. You would like to know what are the good points about that guy, what are the bad points about that guy. The good point is that he is tall, dark, handsome, and filthy rich. The bad point is he's a playboy. Now you decide. Now it's up to you. My job as a CFO is to tell you loud and clearly what are the pros, what are the cons, and then the decision is up to the board. That's evaluation skill, that whenever you are asked to demonstrate or evaluate something, make sure that you cover both pros and cons. Khalas. Don't get into lengthy stories. Any questions on evaluation skills? Easy, huh? It's very easy. It is you and your mind which makes it complicated. Pros and cons. Very good question, Ahmed. Now, there are two things here. Very good. Ahmed said, are we supposed to give equal number of pros and equal number of cons? Ahmed, I ask you, I'm asking you, I'm asking you your own question. Okay, so Mr. Ahmed, no, I will not call you Ahmed. CFO, Mr. CFO, the board has asked you to evaluate a deal. Will you make sure, tell me, will you give equal pros and cons? Is that how it happens in real life? Amir, tell me. Depend on the case, how many. Very good, Amir. So in real life, in real case studies, never it is unlikely that the number of pros and the number of cons will be equal. You are in fantasy world then. So it all depends on the availability of the information. There is no rule of giving equal pros and equal cons. If there are more pros in the case study, you give more pros. If there are less pros and more cons in the case study, you give according to that. Is this clear, everybody? Amir, thank you for asking these questions. I'm sure a lot of people have this thing in mind. No concept of equal. Just make sure that you cover both pros and cons. The quantity depends on the availability of the information. The second question is, sometimes the examiner is asked, critically evaluate. The examiner asks, critically evaluate. Yes, Madhu, obviously. What is the meaning of critically evaluate? Critical means critically. Just cons, yes. So critically evaluate means that you focus more on the cons, the negatives, the risks, the bad points. But I would suggest that at least talk about one pro, and then rest of the points can be negative. When the question says critically evaluate, at least give one pro and then start talking about negative. Okay. And Madhu was asking, from where will we find the pros and the cons? Madhu, from where will we find the pros? I think, I don't know, maybe Bill Gates will tell us. Or maybe we'll ask the examiner, Baba, tell us pros and cons. From the exhibit. Of course, all your answers are hidden in the exhibits. You just need to find them, extract them, copy paste them in your answer and explain them. Okay, Madhu, right? Okay. Now, let's move on to the next one. Conclusion. Again, Anjia, you are saying, should we write a conclusion? Are you crazy? I told you, do not give any voluntary conclusion or recommendation. So why the hell you are asking the same thing again and again? No conclusion. Let the board decide. If the question says conclude, then yes. But if it just says evaluate, then just give pro and cons. Please, guys, do not make me repeat things. Otherwise, we will run short of time. Okay. Please, I want to deal with CFOs. So you should think like a CFO and ask qualitative questions. Okay. Yes, Charles. All right, let's move on. Evaluation, just focus on pros and cons. Analysis skills, again, very simple. It just means identify the reasons for variance or root causes. You guys have done a lot of ratio analysis, right? You know that in ratios we compare, we take out variances, and then we give reasons for the variances. All right? That's the whole purpose, right? That you calculate the variances and then you give reasons. Those reasons is basically analysis. That you are analyzing, or you are trying to identify the reasons or the root causes. Because the board, you see, the board is more interested in the reasons, right? Obviously, right? The board is more interested in the reasons. If you are a CFO and you reported a variance, for example, the first thing, let's take an example. The board says, why the hell the revenue went down? When you showed them the actual performance of this year and the revenue was down, the first question the CEO and the chairman will ask is, CFO, why the revenue is down? That why is analysis skill. Investigate the reason. As a CFO, you need to know the reasons, the business reasons, the root cause of why this is happening, because the board will look towards you to explain to them why. Unless they know the why, they will not be able to take corrective action. So they need to know the reasons. So investigating those reasons means analysis skills. Can anybody tell me, for example, the staff turnover in my company suddenly shot up? I repeat, the staff turnover in my company suddenly shot up this year. It went up as compared to last year. It is abnormally up. So what is the first question the board will ask you? Why did the staff turnover went up? Can you guys think of one or two reasons which comes to your mind? What could be the possible reasons why staff turnover can go up? Can you please type? Bad work environment, low morale, low wages, competitors are offering better salary, no training, change in management, downsizing news, okay, salary disparity, cultural issues, poor working conditions, uh, reputational toxic work environment. Alas, no growth, no growth. So you see these. So if you are able, so you guys are not accountants. You see, you are CFOs. The moment you give these reasons, you score full analysis skills marks. So you understand analysis skills? The moment it says demonstrate analysis skills, then you have to dig deep into the exhibits to find out the reasons, what's happening, why it's happening. Everything, Madhu, where will you find the reasons from? Madhu, are you there? So for analysis skills, where will you find the reasons from? No, Madhu is not answering. From the exhibits. Everything is there in the exhibits. Yes, yes. Sorry, Madhu, please don't mind. I like to keep the session lively, okay? So thank you for, giving your shoulder of the exhibits. Reasons, huh? Okay. Good हो गया, good हो गया. Just a minute, guys. There is someone who wants to come. Hi, guys. Chalo. Sorry, guys. He was disturbing me. He wanted to come in. Okay. Thanks. Where were we? We are done with analysis skills. Okay. Now, the third one. Quick, quick, quick. Communication skill. Very simple. You think, you think that the CFO should have reasonable communication skills? What do you say? Of course, when you are a senior person, when you are sitting in the board of directors, you should have some baseline level of communication skill. So again, nothing much needs to be done in this. Couple of things only which you need to consider. First of all, the formats throughout the paper. Whatever formats are required, like report, like briefing paper, like email, you have to make sure that those formats are done nicely, exactly the way I have shown you. That's one that will help you get good communication skills marks if your format, the layout of your answer looks professional. That's one. Secondly, you need to keep in mind the reader. Okay, that who are you writing to? But generally, just keep a normal language. Do not get too technical. Do not get rude. That's done. And thirdly, you need to keep your role, whether you are internal or external. If you are internal, you can use words like us and we. If you're external, so there was this one interesting question in which the CEO asked you to write a report. There's a CEO who asked you to write a report, and in which he asked you to evaluate his own proposal. So he was proposing something, and the the board was criticizing his proposal. So he contacted you to analyze his proposal. So now you're writing to him, and you are criticizing like crazy on his face. That's not all. I mean, of course, you will criticize, but the tone has to be like that it should not be offensive. Most students, they forget that they are writing to the same person to whom they are criticizing. These are very small things which you need to keep in mind for communication. Okay, so communication just means use the right formats, keep in mind your role, the general layout, and tone of your answer. Nothing much needs to be done. Any questions on communication skill? Yes, Hamad, correct. Yes, okay. No, it's easy, right? Just 5 minutes. I think break is needed. Just 5 minutes. The fourth one is called commercial acumen skill. Do you think the CFO needs to know what's happening? Yeah, hang on. You think the CFO needs to have a general or overall understanding of the business? Yes or no? What do you think? You think the CFO needs to have a general understanding of the business? Of course, yes. Being finance, everything passes under our nose, right? We make budgets, we processes all the payments, we make feasibility studies, we talk to all the first people. So CFO is in fact in a very strong position to have a bird eye view of the entire business. Just because we do financials, we prepare budgets, we do variances, that itself gives us a 360 degree of the entire business. No one else has this special unique opportunity. The marketing guy will just know about marketing. The HR guy will just know about HR. But CFO, because we do budgets and we do the entire financials, we know everything. Everything passes through us. Now, is this rocket science? So, can anybody tell me why the revenue went down? What can be the possible reasons why the revenue fell? Give me just wild low sales. So what do you mean by low sales? Low volume, low quantity, okay. High price, competitors, low demand, alternate products, high taxes, poor quality, our pandemic, inflation, outdated technology. Khalas. You guys know the business. Khalas. So commercial acumen, again, you don't have to do anything. Just when you talk in this manner, don't sound like an accountant. That's it. Everything is in the exhibits. You just pick it up and talk about it. But just don't sound like an accountant. Okay. The last one, and then we will take a break. Skepticism skill. I personally feel this one is the most difficult out of the five, because the first four were pretty easy. Evaluation means pros and cons. Analysis means investigate or identify the reasons. Communication means just your tone, your role, the formats. Commercial acumen means just talk business things, non-financial things. Skepticism skill means, can anybody tell me what is the meaning of skepticism skills? Questioning mind. So yes, you as a CFO, okay, tell me again through an example. You think the CFO should be an idiot or should be street smart? You think a CFO should be an idiot so that everybody can easily make a fool out of him? Or he should be street smart where people cannot take him for a ride? Street smart, right? You guys, do you think I am a easy CFO or I am a street smart CFO? What is your wild assessment? What makes you say that? What makes you feel that I am a difficult or a smart CFO? Because I'm strict, okay? Because I challenge, I ask questions, I look into your eyes. Because you see, the CFO, he is dependent. The CFO is dependent on the information provided to him, right? I'm not gonna visit all the branches and do all the work myself. I can't do that. I have to be analytical, very good. So I am dependent on the information or on the people who are working under me. But then I also have to make sure that they have not made any mistakes, or they have not made any error, or they are not trying to make a fool out of me. So being skeptical means that I ask questions. I ask the right questions. I challenge. I say, no, I don't think this is correct. I think this is not appropriate. Can you just go back and recheck? So challenging someone, disagreeing with someone, disagreeing with the views of someone uh, shows that I have a skeptical mind, and every CFO should have a skeptical mind, because I am, at the end of the day, I am the custodian of company's money. I cannot be an idiot. I have to be vigilant. I have to doubt everyone that this guy is, I have to protect the company. So how do you score skepticism marks in your paper? Just ask a couple of questions. So in your answer, when you're drafting your answer, you just either ask a couple of questions, or you can use words like I disagree, or I don't think this is accurate or appropriate. I disagree with your view. I disagree with your assessment. Or you can ask a question. Okay. So in skepticism, you will have to consciously change the way you are drafting. You have to make sure that there are a couple of question marks in your answer, or you use words like I disagree or it's inappropriate. So one of the marketing director was saying that we are the best he was talking in the board, he was presenting to the board that we are the best and our competitors are nowhere near us. Do you agree with that? So the marketing director was saying we are the best and the competitors were nowhere near us. What can you ask him? Neha, you are saying what are the facts? Be more specific. How can we get evidence of this? Okay, what kind of evidence would you expect? Industry trend, okay. What kind of data would help you judge whether he's right or wrong? What about competitors' data? What about market share, comparison with competitors, industry benchmarking, right? Simple. If you ask him, I'm sorry, I don't think I agree with you, or I need to see some data, some information about competitors or industry averages to see whether what you are claiming is correct or not. Okay, just the ability to ask some questions just to make sure that whatever information is being provided is accurate. Like an auditor's mind. You cannot be blunt, or you should not be rude. You should not feel that make the other person feel like an idiot. You have to be a bit diplomatic but firm. Good. You understand skepticism? You will need to change the way you draft. Put couple of question marks. I don't agree. Need more information. Stuff like that. Done. So let's take a hard-earned break. After that, we'll come to exam techniques. It will be another. Sorry, guys. Today is a bit intensive session, because I'm trying to lay out the foundation. I want you to be aware of all the professional marks, the exam techniques, the formats before we do the question. So today might feel like a bit, but just bear with me today because this is important. So let's take a break. It is 9:15 here, so it will be 10:15 in Pakistan. 15 minutes break. I will see you at 10:30 p.m. Pakistan time. Okay. Hi guys, are you back? And if you're ready, please can you type yes so that I can start? Very good, excellent, excellent. Okay, so the last agenda for tonight is basically very important. It is exam techniques. Now, in SBL, exam techniques plays a very important role, and the exam techniques are slightly different from the other subjects which you were used to. Okay, so some things might be new for you. So let's start. The first thing, when you open up the paper on your CBE platform, okay, the first thing when you open is basically you copy paste the requirements on your Word tool in the CBE platform. So that's the first thing we do, that the requirements in your paper are scattered. They are not together on one page. They are scattered in over several pages. So the first thing I would like to do is just copy the requirements and bring it on the Word tool so that all the requirements are together. I exactly know what are the requirements throughout the paper in one glance. This will take like, I would imagine, 2 to 3 minutes of your precious time, but it's worth it because it will speed up the rest of the process, right? So the first thing is we quickly copy paste the requirements on our Word tool, and we will, do that in the question. We will in the TT4U question. Then once we start reading the exhibits, wherever we feel that a certain information pertains to a particular question, or we can use that sentence or that information in a particular question, you just copy that sentence from the exhibit and paste it on your Word tool under the respective questions. So we have already copied the questions, right? So for example, if one of the question is about identifying risks. So one of the questions says, identify the risks. And now you are reading your exhibits, and suddenly you came across one risk, like liquidity risk. So you should copy paste that sentence or that information, go to copy that sentence from exhibit, go to your Word document, and then paste it under the question, under the respective question of risk management. Got it? Very simple technique. This is how we will be linking with the exhibits, by copy pasting some information, by bringing some information from the exhibits in our draft answers. Okay, any questions on the first pillar? The first pillar is linking with the exhibits. These are two simple steps. Any questions on the first pillar? No? Okay. Fatima is asking, should we delete the requirements later on? No need. If you can delete, then it's okay. If you don't delete, it's okay. Suman, I'll show you all this tomorrow. How to remember the requirements, exactly my point. That is why I have brought all requirements on one page so that we can frequently look at the requirements. So once we stop one exhibit, we should go back to the list of requirements, because there are like 7, 8 requirements, 10 requirements, and at least it's not possible for me to remember all the requirements, right? So that is why I copy pasted all the requirements in one Word document. And once I read an exhibit, I will stop and I will refer, frequently to that list of requirements so that I don't miss out anything. No chance. Full copy paste. Just copy paste the requirements. We don't have time for editing or stuff like that. Okay, I will show you all this technique once we start TT for you. But as of now, this is your theoretical class. I'm just teaching you how to swim on the whiteboard. And then tomorrow we will actually go into the swimming pool. So the first pillar is linking with the exhibits. These are the 2 steps. After that, this one is very important. Time management, the second pillar of your exam techniques, time management. So just be patient and listen very carefully. This is one of the most common reasons why students fail because of bad time management. They either spent too much time on one question or whatever happened. In the end, the students are not able to complete the paper and they miss out 10 marks, 15 marks. So very important thing. Just hold your questions for time management. First, hear me out. Very important slide. So we all know that the paper is of 4 hours, exactly 4 hours. And there is no hard and fast rule that this is your reading time and this is your drafting time. It's entirely up to the student. But the recommended split is that you should spend 60 minutes on reading and planning. So 60 minutes, the first 1 hour is for reading and planning, and the remaining 3 hours or 180 minutes is for drafting. That's the one suggested by the examiner. Now let's talk about the reading and planning time first. Okay, this one. Let's talk about this one first. So you have 60 minutes or 1 hour to read and link and plan your answers. Now there are 2 possibilities. The first possibility is that the case study is a small case study and you are a fast reader and you are able to complete the entire reading in, let's say, 40 minutes or 45 minutes. Okay, so if in case you have completed your reading and planning in 45 minutes, then you don't have to wait for the 60 minutes to be up. Then you must immediately move towards drafting. The second possibility is that you are not able to complete the reading within 60 minutes, maybe because the case study was quite lengthy, or you are a slow reader or a slow thinker, whatever. So 60 minutes and you are not able to complete the reading. So what you have to do, even in that case, you have to stop reading and start your drafting. It doesn't matter if you are still last exhibit is left. You have to strictly follow the time discipline. As soon as 60 minutes are finished, you must stop reading wherever you are and start your drafting. That's a very important rule. Okay, now, supposing 60 minutes are up and you are not able to complete the reading, what will happen? Maybe you will miss the reading of the last exhibit or the last 2 exhibits, right? What happens if the last 2 exhibits are really important ones? So we need to adopt a smart reading technique. I will teach you a smart reading technique. You see, there are normally two types of exhibits. There are two types of exhibits. One is called 1:1 exhibit, and the other one is called 1:many exhibit. So 1:1 exhibit. Can anybody make a guess? What do I mean when I say this exhibit is a 1:1? Make a guess. When I say this exhibit is 1:1, not within one page. 1:1 doesn't mean it's on one page. 1:1 means that this exhibit pertains to one question only. It relates to one question only. So it's a 1:1 means very straightforward exhibit, very directly linked with one question. Okay. And the other type is called 1:many exhibit. What do you think? Make a guess. What do you think 1:many exhibit means? Opposite. Very good. Very good answer. Opposite means that exhibit contains variety of information which affects several requirements. So that exhibit contains answers to multiple questions. Which one do you think is more important to read first? 1:1 or 1:m? Yeah, obviously the 1:many exhibits are relatively more important because they affect more than one questions. So I would suggest the smart reading technique. I would suggest that we first read 1:many exhibits first. Quickly read 1:many exhibit first. Keep the 1:1 exhibits towards the last, so that in case your reading time finishes, at least I know that I have read all the 1:many first, and the 1:1 is left, which I can always read once I start doing that questions. Okay. So now the $1,000,000 question is, how do we distinguish between 1:many versus 1:1? How can we identify which one is 1:many and which one is 1:1? Okay, I will tell you some basic stuff. It is quite easy. So a 1:many exhibits typically board minutes 1:many. Annual report generally 1:many. Website extracts 1:many. So these are the three most common exhibits, which are mostly 95% of the time 1:many. The other rule of thumb to judge is also the size. So generally the 1:many exhibits are more lengthier as compared to 1:1. So a 1:1 will be a short exhibit, like a half page or 3/4 of a page. A 1:many exhibit, on the other hand, will be a lengthy exhibit, generally one full page or even more than one page, 1.5 page, 2 page. But this is secondary. The first thing is, from the name you should be able to assess. So generally these are most commonly used by the examiner. On the other hand, a 1:1 is basically financials. So any exhibit which contains financials, be it a balance sheet or P&L, be it some financial projections, be it some financial data about anything, numbers, 99% it is 1:1. And some very specific topics, like very weird topic, like a risk register. So one of the exhibit is risk register. So obviously a risk register is such a specific exhibit that I know that it can only be used in a question of risk management. I cannot use risk register in a question of, I don't know, acquisition or so. By the name, if it's a very specific name, you can assume that it's 1:1. And articles, most of the time these articles are 1:1, newspaper articles or magazine articles, right? And again, from the size you can judge. If it's a short exhibit, it will be most likely 1:1. It's not difficult. Okay, the thing is, it's not difficult. You understand these two, how to differentiate. Now sometimes you may not be able to judge. Sometimes it is quite possible that one of the exhibits you are not sure whether it's 1:many or 1:1. So in that case, you just treat it as 1:many, right? And then once you have identified out of the 6 exhibits, normally 2 to 3 are 1:many and the remaining 2 to 3 are 50-50, normally 50-50. So first we should read the 1:many exhibits, and then we have time, then we should read the 1:1 exhibit. Okay. Now, so are we clear on how we manage our reading time? We have to read and plan everything maximum within 60 minutes. We should adopt the smart reading technique in which we should read the 1:many exhibits first, followed by 1:1, so that at least the time management, if the reading time is up, at least we have read the more important exhibits first. Done. Now talk about drafting. We have got 180 minutes. So the allowed drafting time is 1.8 minutes per total marks. Okay. The allowed drafting time is 1.8 minutes per total marks. This word is very important, per total marks. Why did I write the word per total marks? Can anybody tell me? What do I mean by total marks? Very good, because not 100. When I say total marks, 1.8 minutes per total marks for a question. So, each question has 2 marks, like 2 kinds of marks. I repeat, each question has 2 types of marks. One is technical marks, and in the second paragraph, there is professional marks. So each question has 2 components, technical marks and professional marks. So whenever I say total marks for that question, I mean technical plus professional marks for that question. Paul, I'm talking about a particular question, not the entire paper. Okay. So if I'll test you. If the question is 10 marks technical and it carries 2 marks professional, so what is the total marks for this question? 12, right? The total marks is 12. How many minutes should we give for 12 marks? How many minutes is allowed to draft this answer for this question. Simply multiply this 12 uh, total marks by 1.8, and let's say 22 minutes roughly. I don't have a calculator, but someone can vouch for me. What do you think? Is this clear? 21.6, yeah, 22 minutes, 21, 22. Very good. So in my techniques, all my time planning is based on total marks. Okay. Why I'm stressing here? Because most of the teachers and the examiner, they suggest time management based on technical marks. So they say you are allowed to spend 2.2 minutes per technical mark. So do not get confused. If you are following my webinar and my exam techniques, just follow this rule of 1.8 minutes per total marks. I have got my own logics for that, but I don't want to, go into details, but just follow this rule of 1.8 minutes per total marks. Okay. Now, what to do if your drafting time is up? Same thing, very simple. Stop drafting and move to the next question as soon as drafting time is up. If it's a matter of 1 or 2 extra minutes, then okay. But if you think that it will take you 5 extra minutes to complete it, forget about it. Stop, move to the next question. Do not spend over time on any particular question, because you will be hijacking precious time from the next question and then from the next question. In the end, if you do not maintain discipline from the start, in the end you will fall short of 15-20 minutes and you will miss one question. Very important discipline. Any questions? Time management, reading and drafting. No, Amir. Okay, let's move to the third pillar, number of points. Again, if you recall, the most common reasons why students fail as per examiner is that they give insufficient number of points. So generally, the rule of thumb is we follow 2 marks per point. 2 marks per point. So, when we draft a well-rounded point, it carries 2 marks. Can anybody tell me if the question total marks is 10? Total marks. Again, I will always talk about total marks, okay? Not technical. Total marks is 10. How many points? For total marks is 10. How many points? 5 to 6. Why are you saying 5 to 6? Who's this Gunpreet? Did you hear me say 6? Exactly 5. Okay. So if it's 10 marks, ideally you should give 5 points. Ideally. If you're not able to 5 points, then bad luck. And at least settle down with 4, but not less than that. Okay. Ideally 5, not less, not more. If the question is 11 marks, then what you will do? Such basic stupid questions. If the question is 11 marks, then you can go for 5 to 6 points depending on the availability of the information and your time management. Time management is also very important in deciding. Okay, clear? Is this okay? One point, when I say 1 point, a well-defined point, so 1 point should be like one para. So I usually one point is one para. So do not try to put multiple points in the same para. 1 point, one para. Second point, second para. Third point, third para. So if you are supposed to give 5 points, ideally I would expect to see how many paras? 5 paras. There might be an opening sentence and a closing sentence, but the real paragraphs, the body of your answer, I need to see 5 paras. So 1 point, one para. Right? We will try to follow this as much as possible. What should be the size of the para or the length of the para? Just 2 to 3 lines, 3 to 4 lines. Okay. I don't like lengthy stories. 3 to 5. Okay. 3 to 5 lines max. And any questions? This is the general rule of thumb, 2 marks per point. Any questions? Now, there are few exceptions to the above rule. The exceptions, you remember weakness and recommendation questions? Do you remember? I showed you a table. So most of the time the question says identify the weakness and give recommendations, in which we are supposed to do a tabular format. Weakness, recommendation. Remember? So if you get a question of weakness plus recommendation, same logic. 2 marks for weakness and 2 marks for recommendation. So generally, one weakness along with its recommendation would carry 4 marks. I repeat, when you get this kind of a question in which you are supposed to identify the weakness and then also suggest recommendations, then that weakness plus recommendation carries 4 marks. I mean 2 marks each, 2 marks for the weakness and 2 marks for the recommendation, 4 marks. Clear? So for example, if the total marks is 16, if the total marks is 16, okay, how many weakness along with its recommendation are you supposed to give? How many weakness along with its recommendation you're supposed to give? 4. Excellent. 4 weakness and followed by its respective recommendation. Very good. Very good. Total there will be 8 points, like 4 weaknesses and 4 recommendations. But if you look at how many weaknesses are you supposed to search from the exhibits, 4 weaknesses you need to identify. Good, guys. Now you are, yes, it was 3 marks before, but I made it 4. Now I think you guys are getting tuned up and getting, my frequency. I'm getting good answers. Keep it up. Keep it up. In the start, you guys were like idiot students, but now you guys are participating with a lot of intelligence. I'm glad. At the end of day 5 or day 4, you all will be CFOs. Similarly, risk and recommendation questions, same thing, same concept. Okay. And the third one is in finance related question, give 1 to 2 extra points. What do I mean by finance related question? Always you will get one question on finance. For example, analyze the financial performance or analyze the cash flow projections, any number, any financial. In a finance question, I always would suggest that you give 1 or 2 extra points. For example, if the finance question is, let's say the total marks is 10, and if it's a finance question, critically evaluate the financial projections prepared by finance manager, 10 marks. Ideally, how many points you should give? If I follow this rule, it's divided by 2 marks. I need to give 5 points. But because it's a finance question, I would like to give 6/7 points, depending on the availability of the information. Even though if it takes 5 minutes extra, obviously if I give more points, it will take few minutes extra. I'm okay with that because I want you to score high in a finance question, because finance is supposed to be your forte. Finance is supposed to be your strong area, right? So if it's a strong area, if it's your strength, we are good with numbers, then why not score a couple of extra marks by giving a couple of extra points? Any questions? Good, no? No, Amir, it will not be ignored. If you write extra points, it will not be ignored. You will be scored. You will be given marks. Amir, you are very skeptical. You have very strong skepticism skills. You have questions in everything. You don't trust anyone. If total marks in a finance question is 20 and I give 11 points, that's fine. What's the problem? 10 marks finance question, we are supposed to write 6 to 7 points. Yes, even though if the time is extra, but try to give nice, because I assume that you are good in finance. Okay, if you are not good in finance and you are not good in business, God help you. Okay, let's move on. So very clear on the number of points, which is the third most important pillar of exam techniques. Okay. Generally, we follow 2 marks per point, but few exceptions. And again, it's based on, all our planning is based on total marks, not technical marks. Okay. Do not get confused. Let me get rid of this. Okay. Next, format of your answer. Now it's simple. I get a lot of these questions, sir. How should we do the drafting? Should it be bullet points? Should it be paragraph style? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, just some basic, when you are drafting and formatting, some basic points. Linking your answer with exhibit is a must. We all know that. I will teach you how to do that. We will need to adopt paragraph style of writing. This one is my favorite. Leave one line between each para. Make the life of the examiner easy. Let him see your paragraph distinctly. Try to leave one extra line between each paragraph. Okay. And how do you leave an extra line? You just press enter twice. And you press enter and enter. Then start a new para. Then the para is complete. Enter, enter. Then new para. Enter, enter, new para. So press enter 2 times automatically. So visually your answer will look more professional. The visual look of your answer carries professional marks, right? Then high focus on formats. Make sure that your formats are beautiful. Your formats have to be beautiful. Hot. You know how understand hot? Your formats have to be hot. The examiner should fall in love with your formats. So you take these small things seriously, because these are easy wins. Even if you are able to get 1 or 2 extra marks by just doing these small stupid things, 1 to 2 extra marks in SBL goes a long way. Then look for stress words in the exhibits. What are those stress words? What is the meaning of stress words? Very, significantly, extremely, notably. So wherever when you're reading the exhibits and you see these stress words, try to use those sentences in your answer, because something in which there is some stressed, then you have to, it's good that you use that in your answer. Use tabular format for weakness and recommendation types of questions, and use of model is not mandatory. Okay. The last leg is this one. What to do if you are unable to find your answer from the exhibit. This is now a common thing that sometimes the examiner does not provide sufficient information. A lot of students feel that they were not able to identify information. So what do we do? Yeah, I know. This is bad luck. There is no such thing as no information was provided. That's not all. Maybe you were not able to identify the hidden information. Maybe you are not able to understand the question properly. You thought A while it was something else. It's not possible that the answer or information is not provided. Why would ACCA do like that? Right? So when ACCA is saying that all answers have to be linked with the exhibit, so how is it possible, theoretically possible, that there is no information? So it's better that we accept that maybe it is our own weakness that we were not able to find, right? So it's bad luck. It's not good, right? But it happens. What to do? It happens always in every paper. There will be one or two requirements which you will feel that you are not able to handle it, or you don't know what exactly to do, or that you can't find any information. It will happen. So let's be mentally prepared that this will happen, and let us not get shocked. Okay. Now the first thing is to do is define. So now if you get a question in which you don't really understand what to do, at least try to fill some space. I don't like that you leave it blank. So you can at least define that thing. For example, if the question talks about disruptive technologies or cloud computing or Star Wars, I don't know, at least you write a small paragraph, an opening paragraph to first explain. But mind you, definitions will not get you marks. It's just to fill some space and get you in the warm-up phase. Then this one is important. Use search find option. So the good part about the CBE platform is it has a search and find option. You can, if you're not able to find any points, then as a double check, you may want to use that function and just put in some keywords and search all the exhibits. Maybe you're able to find some keywords, some related words. And if you are able to find something, then immediately copy paste that information on your answer sheet. You can, then explain those points which you found through search option. You can summarize the current status problems from the exhibits. You can talk about the impact. It's all just bullshitting, huh? Defining, explaining the current situation in your own words. What's the impact? Why is it bad? And then towards the end, try to give one paragraph from your own thoughts. But this is important. Push this question to the last. So any question where you are not able to directly find something, skip it. Move to other questions where you are more confident. And towards the end, when you are left with 5-10 minutes, you can come back and do this question in this strategy. The worst mistake you can do is that if this question is somewhere in the middle and you forget about everything and you just spend extra time saving this question, it's suicide. Do not spend extra time on such questions where you don't know jack shit. In fact, even do not spend the full amount of time. Utilize that time for other questions. Any such questions where you are shaky, first of all, skip it. Move on to the next ones. Second of all, you can always come back and just try to write some basic stuff. Do not stop in the middle and give time to this, putting other questions at risk. That is where you will suicide. Questions? Any questions? Yes. Yes, it's okay. Good. So these are some basic techniques which I want you to keep in mind. And we will try to apply all these while we are doing the TT for you question. Okay, so I've got like 15 to 20 minutes, and this is the last topic, the CBE platform. So I want to show you the CBE platform. So I hope you all know that ACCA has provided all of you with the CBE platform, and there are several SBL questions on your CBE platform, and we will be practicing using the CBE platform. So those of you who don't know this, there is a link. You can go through your My ACCA and search for it. So when you go there, you will see practice platform. If you click on this link and then go down, you will see login to the practice platform. And when you click on the login to the practice platform, you will put in your ID and password for your My ACCA, and then you will see this screen. I don't know, I'm not sure about this screen because I have the tutor module, but then eventually you will see the SBL exam somewhere, and there will be all these papers which you can solve. All right, so I want you to show you one quick paper. Where is it? This one. Can you see this girl? Can you see my screen with this girl with beautiful black hair? Can I have a yes or a no? Okay. This is so I've already logged in to the CBE platform. This is the tutor platform. Okay, it might be slightly different. So I'll just scroll down to strategic business leader. And here I will click on ACCA official resources, past exam practice question. So for argument's sake, let's open practice question. And then let's look at practice exam number 2. So it's already open somewhere, practice exam number 2. So I resume it. So this is now the paper. So when you will open up your CBE platform, this is how the first screen will look. So on the left side, you will see all the exhibits followed by tasks. So task means the requirements, questions. Task 1, 39 marks, task 2, 28 marks. And lastly, there will be response options in which there will be a word processor document, a spreadsheet, and PowerPoint slides. And on the right hand side is whatever you click here, it will open here. So for example, if I click here, let's say I open the first exhibit. So a window will open up like this. You can, from the right corner, from here, you can drag, you can increase, okay, and you can reduce the thing. From here, you can zoom in, zoom out the size. And from here, there's a highlighting tool. Highlight and highlight, done. You see, highlight, done. This is how you work. And once you are done, you just go and close this window. Alas, automatically everything will be saved, right? If you look at the requirements, task 2, task number 1, this is the requirement. I will adjust the screen. You can select, you can copy like Control C or copy. So can you open multiple screens at the same time? Any idea? Can anybody tell me, can we open multiple screens at the same time? So for example, my exhibit is here and my Word document is here, and I can, while I'm reading, I can quickly simultaneously copy paste. Excellent, excellent. You guys are well knowledgeable. So let's try that. So on one, I will open up one of the exhibits here. Okay. I will reduce the size. I will keep it on the left side. And I will open the Word document here. I will reduce the size. I will keep it here. And now I'm just reading. For example, if I think this sentence is important, I will just Control C, come here and paste. Oops. Paste one is this. Okay. Then I think this sentence is important while I'm reading. So I'm just, Control C, come here, paste. Next. Go down, go down. I think this paragraph is important. I will select this, Control C, go here. You can also do Control V, or you can paste from this icon. And once I'm done, I close this word processor. Then I go to the second exhibit. I start reading. Very nice, very nice. Oh, I see a good point. This I want to cover. Control C. I go there, paste. You see, so you end up copy pasting some relevant information on the word processor. Once you've copy pasted the relevant information, now is the time that I need to just add my own words, explaining that point. Easy, simple. Now, last thing I want to show you. Let's open task number 1. So each question has 3 components. Each question has 3. There is a background about the requirement, which is unbold. This is the background about the requirement. Then there is the actual requirement, which is in bold. And then followed by that, there is a professional skills requirement. So I repeat, there are 3 things in a requirement. The unbold, which gives you some background about this requirement. The actual technical requirement, in this case, it is 16 marks, followed by the professional skills requirement, which is 3 marks. So my first question, now I want your attention. Please be ready. My first question. Question number 1A. What is the total marks? Quick, let's see your IQ and your speed. Question number 1A. What is total marks? 19. Very good. Everybody, yeah? Second question. It says the chief business analyst has asked you to prepare briefing notes for the finance director, discuss the key factors which are How many points? How many points? Quick, how many points you need to write? 8 points? Are you guys crazy? 8 points? I mean, unbelievable. So 19 divided by 2 is 9.5. So 9/10. Idiots. Okay, 9/10 points. Depending on the availability of the information and the time, minimum 9, ideally 10. Okay, now how much time drafting time allowed for this question? 34.2 minutes. Yes, good boys, good. How many paragraphs in this question? How many paragraphs? 9 to 10. Same like number of points. So each point is a paragraph. Very good. So now let's look at question number 1B. Can you see it? Again, 3 parts. One is the background of the question. So it's very important that we need to read this, followed by the actual technical requirement, which in this case is again 16 marks, followed by the professional skills 4 marks. How many points for this question? Yes, exactly 10 points. How much drafting time allowed? 20 into 1.8, 36 minutes. Good. You understood, right? How we decide the number of points, how we need to decide the time management. That's very important. Whenever we start to draft, whenever we start a question, the first thing you will do is how many points I need to look for. And the second thing is how many minutes I have at my disposal. If you don't get into this habit of doing this pre-planning, you are screwed. Okay, please, every question before you start drafting, you have to know how many points, how many minutes, and then you say Bismillah and you start. Okay, and then you need to keep track of it. Good. Last thing I want to show, enjoying or not enjoying. Let me know. Enjoying? Eh? This is the game. This is the game. Okay. Last question. I just want to show you the professional skills. So for if you read the professional skills, it will be well defined. It will tell you what skill you need to demonstrate and will also give you some hint. So I have not read this scenario, right? But let's try and judge. So it says professional skills marks are available for demonstrating analysis skills. So in this question, 1A, we have to demonstrate analysis skills. That's one. So I'll just highlight. And then it says it is also the examiner is giving us some hints. How in investigating and considering information from a range of sources. What does that mean? So the examiner is saying demonstrate analysis skills. Good. So we know what is analysis skills. We need to identify the root cause, the reasons, whatever. But the examiner has given you some hint. It says in investigating and considering information from a range of sources. So if you want to score maximum professional marks, then you need to follow this hint. Can anybody tell me what is the meaning of considering information from a range of sources? Very good, Ananya. Very good. Yes, and many others as well. So many of you are saying that we need to use information from multiple exhibits. I want to see the word exhibits. So when it says range of sources, so for you, the available source of information are the exhibits. So range of sources means you have to use information from a range of exhibits, multiple number of exhibits. So if you want to score extra professional marks in this question, make sure that you at least copy paste information from at least 2 exhibits. If you just stick with one exhibit, you will lose professional marks because you did not follow the hint. You want to see one more professional skill? Shall I show you one more professional skill? Yes, no? Or you are tired? Let's look at one more. This is the last one. This is the last section, then we will off. Let's look at 1B. So it says professional skills marks are available for demonstrating evaluation skills. So we know that which skill is required? Evaluation skills. So we need to make sure that we cover both pros and cons. But let's look at the hint. In presenting a balanced and objective appraisal of the relevant information relating to the proposed acquisition of Confistate. So the hint just tells us that we need to present a balanced and an objective appraisal. Balanced appraisal means pros and cons, right? A balanced assessment means we cover all aspects, which is pros and cons. So in this one, the hint is that if you just make sure that you cover all aspects like pros and cons, khalas, you will get this 4 marks. Okay, agreed? You understood? Objective means is just a sexy word. Objective means facts and figures. Very good question, Jalis. Jalis is saying skill should be reflected in every para. No, No. If you need to demonstrate skill in every para, you will be screwed. Overall, the examiner should be able to feel that you have applied the skill. It does not have to be in every para. Overall, some pros, some cons, and that's it. Balance means equal pros and cons. Allah, I told you there is no such thing as equal pros and cons. Balance means logically balanced, like some good points, some bad points. A balanced assessment means 360-degree. But you will get the hang of it the more practice. You see, the more practice we will do, you will understand the language of the examiner. Munir, Muhammad Sunir, hey Bhagwan. Muhammad Sunir is saying, can I write both pros and cons in one para? Somebody give me a bloody gun. Sunir is asking, can I write both pros and cons in one para? Please, can anybody answer him before I shoot him? Why no? Why no? Why in different paras? Please, can you explain to him? 1 point, 1 para. Hey Bhagwan. I swear I will not give you job in my company if you God. Okay, I'm just joking. Huh? I'm enjoying. So let's look at task 2. Only the professional skill. Task 2 says professional skills available for demonstrating communication skills in clarifying and conveying relevant information to the stakeholders. Communication skill means just make sure the format is nice, the tone, the language is kept in mind, keeping the user, keep your mind your role. So what is the format? Press release. So as long as you make a nice press release format, remember the press release format? No, no. Where is it? The press release format. Here. Press release. So if you give this nicely and you give this nicely, and the tone is keeping in mind the reader and your role, simple language, you will get full marks, 3 marks. Straightforward. Next, professional skills marks are available for demonstrating, again, evaluation skill. Whoa. In using appropriate professional judgment to assess how useful integrated reporting could be to the stakeholder. So something to do with integrated. So make sure that you cover the pros and the cons of integrated reporting. How useful and how not useful. Yani pros and limitations. Alas, keep it simple. Okay. Last question. Let's look at the professional skills. Professional skills marks are available for demonstrating, oh my God, skepticism skills. Most difficult. What's the hint? In probing and challenging the opinions of the board. Ouch. So we need to probe. Probe means ask questions. And challenging, again, I disagree. But to what? To the opinions of the board. So in I'm sure in one of the exhibits, there is the board has expressed some opinion. and you are supposed to either ask some more questions to get clarity, or you disagree and challenge them. So your drafting tone has to be altered here, that you make sure that there are a couple of questions in your answer, and you have tried and used the word I disagree, something like that, if you want to score this 4 marks. Questions? Again, as I see, in every point should we apply skepticism? Ikhlas, good question. So Ikhlas is asking, in every point should we apply skepticism? No, not at all. I think someone else also asked in the previous question that in every point do we need to, apply evaluation? No. Similarly, for skepticism, you don't have to apply it in each and every para or in each and every point. Your life will be screwed. But overall, in 1 or 2 paragraph, you can ask questions. That's it. Doesn't have to be all the paras. Mohammed Amir, you are right. Then we follow the professional one, not the. All right. So I think you guys have understood. Today was just you see a portion in which I wanted to show you all the professional skills, what it means, how it looks in the actual paper. I wanted to show you the formats. I wanted to show you the exam techniques. Now, tomorrow, inshallah, we will start with the TT4U question, and we will try our best to apply slowly and gradually apply all the things which we learned today. So today was a heavy duty session, but it was important to build your foundation and base for tomorrow. Right? So tomorrow we will start at 8:30 Pakistan time. Now, tomorrow all of you must have your laptop or your PC with you. It's very important because you will be drafting and solving along with me. I'm not I'll not be the only one solving and you guys just watching me and enjoying me. Sorry guys, it's not on. You will be drafting and solving in parallel with me. So all of you must have an active laptop or PC. Watching this webinar on your cell phone is not going to work. I will share the TT4U question on the handouts, because the TT4U question is not available on your CBE platform. So the question paper I will share as a handout, but we will be solving it on the CBE platform. So there are blank workspaces available in the CBE platform. So for answering TT4U, I will be using the CBE platform. Right? So I will see you guys tomorrow. Please be ready and equipped before the class starts so that we spend minimal time in administrative matters. If there is no questions, then we can sign off tonight. I'm seeing a lot of questions, but most of these questions will be addressed when we actually do the practice, you see. So I don't want to do information overload tonight. So Suman Malik, you're asking, copy pasting again and again. Please don't do that. You're flooding my question box. I have seen your question, but we will leave it for tomorrow. I told you TT4U is not available on the platform. It is available on a PDF. So it will be on the handouts. So you can save it, you can download it, you can Google it. The paper is available on ACC website. So TT4U is March 2020 paper. You can download it from ACC website in a PDF, and then we can use the blank workspace to do it. Please, no. Oh, good question, Fahad. Fahad is saying, should we read the question before? No, no, nothing before the honeymoon. Okay, we will have honeymoon tomorrow together. Not nothing before that. Don't kill the suspense. Right. All right, guys. So well done. I think you guys did well, especially towards the second half. Keep it up and just make sure you attend these 4 days, and I can promise you, you will pass. Right. So I will see you guys tomorrow again with high energy, all equipped for TT4U. Till then, good night. Take care. Bye bye.